Hello and welcome to the penultimate edition of Inside COP15. We've been saying this for a while now, but it really is crunch time. There's only 24 hours before the bigwigs in the Bella Centre have to either reach a deal or admit that they failed. It's getting quite cold here in Copenhagen, but the negotiations are really hotting up. And here with me today to talk about what's been going on are Marianne Thieme, Dutch politician and chairwoman of Party of the Animals, and Herman Ott from the German Green Party. So let's start off by talking about how things have gone today. You've both been in the Bella Centre. What's been going on? Marianne, let's start with you.
Well, I think the question is, why is nothing happening there? Why is everybody waiting till someone is going to move? Someone's going to move and then try to get an agreement. And I think that's a problem. It's like a strangling force. Everyone is strangling each other and holding each other, but nobody is saying, well, this is the way to get an agreement.
Do you think it's one person that needs to say something, or do you think it's, they all need to bounce off each other to get an agreement?
Well, I have the feeling that the industrialized countries, they have the key to really get a change. What do you think?
Yeah, they have. But I do think that there is a deal already that's been done. There are several indications for that, and I've talked to quite some people. The deal was done already in November, 9th of November, in Berlin, at the celebrations of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Brown, Sarkozy, Merkel, Clinton and Medvedev came together, and they basically laid the groundwork for what we have now. There's two problems with it. One is it's a bad deal from what I know. What's coming out of it I can explain in a minute. And the other one is that we don't have a transparent and representative process anymore. Not only are large parts of the countries excluded, like the weaker countries, especially in the south, but also civil society. They've come here in masses, 20,000, and now they are not even barred, but actually even if they were there, they wouldn't have an influence on the outcome because it's already done.
Yeah. But do you think there's a lot of building to be done on that agreement that was made in Berlin? Or?
Well, it's going to be bad because what we need in scientific terms, you've alluded to it, is at least a 30% reduction of emissions by 2020 from all industrialized countries. What we're going to get probably is a 10% reduction offer. These are only pledges.
Yeah.
It's nothing binding. And so there's a huge gap, and there's a real danger that we're going to miss the chance to use this window of opportunity to stay below 2 degrees, and that we're heading for a world that is 3.5 degrees hotter than it is now. And that would already be a different world from what we know now.
But would it be enough? We don't know.
Well, there's a nice book by Mark Linus, I don't know whether you know it. He tries to explain for each degree that the Earth warms up and what it will look like, which makes it more visual. But one of the most depressing things is at the end of each chapter he says, well, is there any chance of preventing a runaway climate change? And from 3 degrees onwards, this is the case. So if we get 3, we get 4, 5, 8, 10 or 12 degrees. And that's why the threshold of 2 degrees is so important.
What I find, well, the problem is that the people who are now inside the building, the Bella Centre, are the problem. They caused the problem. They are the politicians who are there for decades, and what they try to be now is to become the problem solvers. But we need other kind of people, and the problem is that they shut them out, and they have an own climate forum now in Copenhagen. But in the Bella Centre, they can't get in. They're really, and I think that's really a shame.
Do you think that's happened because they've had to keep them out because of the numbers of people, which is what Eva de Boer is saying, or is it more sinister than that?
Well, yeah, there were organizations completely shut out. So not just 1 or 2 people with each organization, but whole organizations weren't allowed to come in. And they were accepted months ago. So I think there's more than just a limit of people as a problem.
So Marianne,
But
you're here, sorry.
I think even if there was less people, there would still be a shutout, because the number of heads of state and government is more than 100, and they would just not risk having a very diverse civil society around with this, and especially with Obama, who never was an American president at one of those conferences. So it resembles more and more, and that is really a criticism, the G8 meetings with high security. Everything is staged, nothing is really left to the natural developments. And I see great dangers there, not only for the climate as such, but also for international democracy and the emerging civil society.
Yeah.
So Marianne, you're here for a screening of your film this evening, Meet the Truth.
Yeah.
We've actually got a clip of that, so we'll show our viewers that clip now.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Marianne Thieme and I'm a member of parliament for the Party for the Animals in the Netherlands. And our party is the very first in the world to champion the rights of non-humans in the national parliament. However, there are other problems in the world aside from animal welfare. So tonight I'm going to tell you some very hard truths about what we are doing to our planet. And I'm so pleased that you are ready to face up to these realities.
If you look at the 10 hottest years ever measured, they've all occurred in the last 14 years.
The world is heating up fast and we have ourselves to blame.
So Marianne, that was the first minute of the film, so we've just seen a presentation from yourself and also some hard-hitting climate change images. So can you tell me where does the meat come into this?
Well, if people talk about climate and climate change, and you ask them, why are there so many carbon emissions? And all the people say, well, it's the industry, it's the cars, the lorries, the planes, and the energy industry. But the FAO, the Food Agriculture Organization, made a shocking report that the meat industry causes far more carbon emissions, methane in fact, than all the cars, tractors, lorries, planes added together, so 40% more. And a lot of people don't know that. They saw the film An Inconvenient Truth of Al Gore. It was a good film, of course, but he forgot something rather important, that the #1 cause of global warming is the meat industry. The climate problem is on our plates.
Why don't you think it's being more talked about here at the Bella Centre then?
I think that it's rather shocking for people to realize that what they eat is climate unfriendly. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to become a fanatic vegetarian, don't touch my steak, don't touch my barbecue. But we've all become accustomed to the fact that we leave our car at home and use the trains. A lot of countries have taxes on car use. And why not have a tax on these very pollutive products like meat and dairy?